3, 2, 1. My claps are just like, eek.
That's how my first one was. But anyway, welcome back. If the intro was shorter than usual, then technical difficulties, baby. Welcome back in. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse, and Itisdpayne.
Hello, it is me, Pain of D.
We are back. We are back again with books. I have a stack of books in front of me, and none of them are actually the one for the book prompt that I want to settle on.
Mine are behind me. Not the ones that I'm going to talk about, but there are books behind me. Such as this one. I don't know why I grabbed this one. It's a Morkbork. It's the one that you shouldn't show your church.
Hi, church people.
Yeah, it's got a goat man on the back. I'm going to put this back because then I'll get very distracted. Speaking about getting very distracted, I have a tale to tell.
Oh, you're saving it.
Yeah. I got to save something for the podcast. Besides, I don't know, my questionable morals now. Guys, here it is. Story for the podcast. We're becoming a political podcast where we're going to talk about lobotomies and brainworms. That's our new podcast.
I'll take the lobotomy. RFK Jr. can keep his brainworm.
Well, we're not actually going through them. We're just talking about them.
Oh, so I can't have a lobotomy.
If you want, I'm not going to be one to tell you how to live your life.
Oh, look, that's a notification for my other podcast where they give free lobotomies out. I gotta go.
How Hop gets out of talking to Discourse. So the next, I don't know, hours just be me rambling. But anyway, I was at the Great Store Marshalls. And
sorry, I thought this was one long title of a store. And I was like, I've never heard of Great Store Marshalls. And then I realized there's a comma after store.
Yes. Sorry, I'm not speaking. I don't have subtitles underneath. Underneath me, there's just the Great Store, comma, Marshalls. Yeah, because I needed some shorts and whatever. But so I was going through there, and I found like the softest, like most comfortable pair of pants. They look like jeans, but they have like the softness of sweatpants. And I'm like, this is awesome. I'm gonna get this. So I did. Take it home. I'm like, okay, well, I put them on. They're amazing. Like the legs are a little bit long, but I'm like, hey, I got shoes. I can roll them up, whatever. It'll be great. I'm like, man, this is awesome. These pants are cool. I can't wait to wear them. I go to wash them, and the washer and dryer was having its own issues where not everything was drying completely. So it was a little bit damp, and I'm like, maybe if I wear them, it will dry out as I'm wearing them. I don't know. And then like I was looking at it, and then where the pocket is and the strap that goes around the waist, there's just this huge hole ripped in it. I'm like, I didn't even get to wear these outside.
Oh no.
And so
they didn't even survive a full wash cycle.
No. And so I'm sitting here, I'm like, what? And I'm like, I like them. And
is it a time for you to broadcast, hey, anyone in the podcast, if you know how to sew, contact Discourse.
I do know somebody that knows how to sew. I just have to contact them to see if it's possible for them to do this. And I'm like, hey, if you're gonna stitch up this hole, do you think you just go around the whole thing?
Kind of like alter the bottom too, and then check the stitching. And
yeah, I don't really care about altering the bottom. I'm like, whatever, I'll grow into it. I'm a growing boy, mainly out of my gut. But hey,
that reminds me, I was in elementary school. We had a math problem, and it was a trick question. But they were like, what is the proper bar chart for the growth of adults? And I went to my math teacher and I was like, it's the 0, right? Because you stop growing at a certain age. And he was like, well, it depends. Do they mean height or around the gut? And I just stared at him. He's like, I see that didn't land. Yeah, you're right. It was a trick question.
Womp womp. Sir, I'm not here for jokes. I'm here for answers.
Do you not see the academic achiever in me as I'm like shaking as a 10-year-old?
sir. Just like the child, like you got the water tears in your eyes, snot's bubbling. Sir, I just want to know so I can go back to my seat.
I want the 100. Please don't play with me right now.
I never was that student. I never was. I want to get the 100. I want to never come back to this class again. And then now, in my ripe old age of, 35.
You didn't go to the store ripe old age 35? I've heard that place is
No,
great.
that reminds me. Since we were talking about Korean things earlier,
It
uh,
sounds so awkwardly ambiguous.
um, it reminds me of a whole bunch of stories where if you are not from Korea or just don't fit in like the what we how we normally see like the body type of Koreans, all their stores are named like Moo Moo Cow. I saw a TikTok where they were just like, "Yep, you're someone who is a medium in America going to shop at in Korea," and it's just like all these things that would not fly in America. The name is just like all the store titles are just that they showed in the TikTok are just like, "Yeah, you're fat."
Oh my
it's
goodness.
it's like by typical like American and probably UK standards. You're not.
You're average, but
Yeah.
beauty standards,
So,
baby.
yep. So, um, I don't know. My brain was trying to think of anything else, but like by the time this comes out, Charity Palooza will already be done.
Yeah, we don't have any fun updates because we're really far ahead in recording because we've
We
learned.
always go ahead.
I was
Sorry.
gonna say we've learned mistakes after the Halloween, our first major Halloween event.
hmm we normally try to. Is my mic not? What the heck just happened?
It's blipping. Your volume just
Um,
was Audacity not catching it?
no, like my whole recording on Audacity just stopped.
Oh, I can still hear you.
Yeah, like it stopped recording. Weird. Oops. Well, okay. Um. Oh, here. Let's just sync again, because I don't know how long ago it stopped recording. Okay. Three.
Are we starting completely over?
Now we'll just pick up from here.
Okay.
Three, two, one.
My clap is kind of quiet. Hopefully you can find mine.
Man, I don't see my clap. What's going on here?
Mine, I mean, like, I am getting Audacity lines right now. Are you?
Yeah, I'm getting.
All right, one more clap.
Hey. Three, two, one. My claps are just like.
That's how my first one was. But anyway, welcome back. If the intro was shorter than usual, then technical difficulties, baby. Welcome back in.
I'm looking to see when everything stopped working, and I can't tell because I tried to scroll.
And it's moving forward.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
that's
should have
okay.
done that when the recording stopped. I'm gonna like click out of this. I don't know if I hit something on my keyboard and that's what did it.
Oh, some kind of shortcut. But in any case, so we've been
Ooh,
chatting.
fireworks.
Oh, it's happening for you too.
Yeah.
So since we've been chatting a little bit, I guess we can give the welcome in. If this is your first time here, we're talking about different book prompts that we've given to each other. They're oddly specific,
Mhm.
and we haven't told each other what we've brought to the table, only that what we requested.
Yeah, we haven't even told each other what the oddly specific request for each other was. We just brought books.
Imagine.
I remembered what I wanted to ask you. Oh my goodness. It won't take long, okay?
You're fine. This intro might be short anyway.
Hey, uh, are you on Team Gnome or Team Knight?
Should I know what this is?
Hey, so once again, we confirmed that we're not on the same sides of TikTok.
But can I get
There's
a little bit of context?
nope, no. There's so over the past 2 days, there have been this like there it's been more than 2 days, but there's been like this group of like people who pretend to be gnomes and like run around and like public and stuff
Oh, with
and
the
do like
green blanket on
yeah
their black. Okay, okay, okay.
yeah well that's all one guy and so
Yeah, yeah.
well apparently now there's this community where now there are knights fighting trying to capture and destroy the gnomes
I have
and
not seen the knights. I've only seen the gnomes.
yeah the knights are like the military complex because they're very much like we're gonna show up burn your villages I don't well
In that case, I'm Team Gnomes because
yeah
ACAB. I mean, what?
and we're gonna do that and then like the gnomes are like we're gonna put dynamite in your sewer systems and like sink your cities and all that stuff but then it's like it keeps going forward where like the wizard society's like oh man we're team knights but we might be team gnome we don't know they keep going back and forth and then like the knights are like we are summoning we have made alliances with the giants and the dragons and the gnomes are like we have teamed up with like the Rangers are like the Rangers we're coming to aid we want peace for all and then like I got a TikTok saying if you're seeing this you're part of the mouse guard wait that's behind me
I was like, interesting that they brought
I
them
think
in.
no I think it was like it's very much like all the arts from mouse guard but it's just like you're part of like the mouse folk and we're here to protect the gnome brethren and all this stuff and I'm like what the heck is going like how did I even get here
Yeah,
like
I get the occasional D&D TikTok, but nothing this in depth. I oh, here this is what I'll say. I haven't gotten LARPing TikTok. This feels like LARPing since, the gnomes are
yeah
out in public and
it's I don't know it just at first it seemed like just goofy little like people just being like fun and like
now it's
and all
escalating.
that and now it's like knights like are just and there's like this guy who's just like it's hilarious because I'm seeing like all of it and there's this dude who is a knight dressed like all like on this and he's like telling how he's here to like capture the gnomes and everything but then they have people in like Solaris armor and it's hilarious like walking in the stores and seeing all these gnome like lawn gnome statues and he's like I have found them
That is very entertaining.
so
Now that you've
yeah
said it out loud, my phone's heard it, so I should end up on that TikTok pretty
okay
soon.
well let me know I want to know how you like to destroy cities.
That sounds more like me than the other way around. But in any case, yes, books. My hand moved this way because I actually have a pile of books here as like my runner-ups. But before
My
we,
hand moved this way because I have dice here
yes, and then you can give the introduction of why we need dice, D-Payne.
because we're nerds.
If it wasn't clear from his For You page.
You be quiet there.
Are you rolling your dice?
No, I'm rolling my knuckles in the air. And I do have a die. Yeah, so we're gonna roll D6s because we have 6 episodes. That's not why we said it, but I think we just said that we wanted to roll D6s for once. And
Are we
printed
going high, low, or middle this week?
uh we can't do middle. There's 2 of us.
I feel like we've done that before.
I think we did middle if we had more than one option.
Okay.
Yeah, we that was back in the day when we had a spreadsheet with okay, a less organized spreadsheet of topics, and we would choose 3, and then that's when we did the middle option. But we can't do we can't roll middle to find out who's going first between the 2 of us.
But in any case, all right.
um,
Then do you want to
we
do
can
high or
do
low this week?
um, let's see. I'm looking. Uh, let's do low because both of these topics for us is just like wishing.
Okay.
And so like we weren't able to have or experience. So but yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna find out who goes first in that, and then once we roll, we have a timer set for 20 minutes. So that way we don't ramble on like we are prone to do about stuff.
Spoiler free zone.
Uh maybe. No, there are really no spoilers. Um,
No, he's to me.
yeah. And yeah, we'll be doing that. So let's do this.
I already
Uh,
rolled mine.
oh well.
That's why I was asking high, low, middle, so I can be mentally prepared.
I want to say middle and find out how we're gonna figure that out. Would middle be we roll 3 dice and take the average?
That would be fun
We'll do that next week.
for the finale.
Yeah.
I
Which
just
will
said
be
middle as in like closest to 3.
oh, no, I guess that
We've done
makes
that before, I feel like.
maybe. I don't know. We've rolled a lot of dice. But I rolled a 4. What did you roll?
A 3. So I guess I'm
Oh,
going first.
that's why you wanted to do middle.
Because it'd be funny. All right, so let me know when you've got my timer started. In the timer, I'll be explaining how the prompt that Deepane had for me, how I feel like the book fits, a quick synopsis, and who I would recommend the book to.
Your time has started.
It has begun. All right, so Deepane asked me for a book that makes you wish for an ability or tool of the world. So I immediately went to fantasy books, and I have some that I own, some I've read that I don't own, which is like the one that I ended up picking is one that I didn't own. But I have like a set of fantasy books. So for audio listeners, I have the 5th season, Black Sun, The Poppy War, and Gideon the Ninth.
I read half of those books.
You have. So this one is if you like the idea of controlling earth elements, but the 5th season, like last week, I guess technically we did record. No, it wasn't last week. But in any case,
For us, it was 2 weeks, but for them, last week.
this is a book that like D-Payne gave an option, like a book that grows desire to live in that world. I was like, these powers are really cool in the 5th season because you have like it's essentially like geomancers, but of all different types and of all different scales. Some lava, some crystals, some like a whole wide range of abilities. The people, like the society of this frickin' sucks. They're like, oh, you have the ability to manipulate magic and possibly save our planet and take care of us. We hate you. We're racist against you. So, would not want to live in that world. Black Sun is another great fantasy that has some really cool powers in it, except one character gets to get turned into a god. It's the very opening of the book, but has to go through a whole bunch of crappy stuff to get there and get all the powers that are associated with it. But he can, like, do a bunch of crazy cool stuff because he's about to become a god. And then you have other people that are other races, but those are kind of like, it'd be a spoiler if I went into them, but they all also have cool powers and cool like connections to nature. But again, shitty society setup.
That book, Black Sun, has been on my like wish list for like I think like a year and a half now.
It's up there with favorite fantasies. Like
And
I debate between 5th season and Black Sun as like my favorite adult fantasy.
but every time I look at it, the line is like "Black old sun, won't you come?" I don't know the words.
Then there's also the Poppy War, which also has really cool abilities, but at great cost, which D-Payne is very well aware of. I have not read the rest of the series, but I do own the other books. But very great war novel. But yeah. Did you just send me? Yes, lots of fire. Fire. I'm not gonna say much else. And then you have Gideon the Ninth, and it has really cool necromancy powers, and it looks at necromancy in all types of ways between like health, bones, creating life, blah 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 blah. I'm not opening that GIF. I just saw the name of it. But yeah,
It has a name.
like bone dance GIF.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a classic. But yeah, so all of these fantasies I'd highly recommend. But out of all of these, even though they all have really cool abilities and tools across them, none of them are the one that I absolutely wish for. This last book is a young adult fantasy based on Pacific Islander mythology. I got it out of the library because it published this year, and it's called Dragon Fruit.
I think you were mentioning that to me.
Yeah. My favorite thing about it, the ability that they have, which is not a major spoiler, is that at a certain age, you have a tattoo that appears on your body. And that tattoo can be manifested into a creature that is either like a regular living creature of its normal size. So like one character has a spider. So sometimes the spider is just like doing spidery things or will like make webs for them. But there's like a connection between the tattooed creature and its owner that it manifested on. Or sometimes it can be a giant spider that paralyzes a whole crew of people because, like, colonizers need not be on the Pacific Islands. But yeah, it's got a really cool ability. And throughout the book, everybody has their own unique animal that kind of attaches to them for different personality traits and things like that. So someone who was really cunning had the spider, and they found really creative uses for it. And then other people have like sharks, so they were really great swimmers. And then they have a shark to manifest and either use to help them swim or hunt or attack. And they can come out like little baby shark, massive shark, abnormally large shark. And it's a very just like interesting use of ability or tool. And I feel like out of all the ones compared to a lot of the fantasies I've read, it seems like the easiest one that if it just happened one day, I
Mhm.
don't need specific training. is I think the description for it is like it's like an uncomfortable feeling like getting a tattoo, but that once it's finished being etched on your body, it you and it are like one in one. So, as opposed to like having to learn necromancy or having to make great sacrifices to get fire powers, or are you gonna send me another gif? I saw you moving your hand.
Oh no, I'm fiddling with pens.
Okay, that's fine. I was mentally preparing for the Discord ding. Or having to go to a school where people want to use your powers for their own capitalistic gains.
Oh,
Or
Babel?
also that one. And then also, or like having to go through terrible trials and losing a lot of your own humanity to become a god with cool powers. You just get a tattoo one day, and like you and your animal friend can like do whatever you want and protect the island and protect your people. I think that's a fun ability to have out of a world, and it seems like the least amount of suck to get good with it. But so that's
So,
why I feel
oh,
like
go
it fits
ahead.
the prompt. Go
Mhm.
ahead. You had a question for me?
Yeah. So like I size of tattoo does not matter of the summon.
No,
Can you have more than one? Or is that like
I
spoiled
don't
territory?
think in the book. In the book, at least, I don't recall anybody being able to have more than one.
It seems like a book two trope where it's just like somebody comes and they have like multiple.
I
Do the
thought
animal?
I thought it was going
Okay.
to be a trilogy, but it wrapped up very quickly in the ending, and that's basically the only points I took away from the book. Where like the pacing of it, I was like, oh, this is a good setup for like a duology or trilogy, and then
Hmm.
very quickly they were like, and this is how everybody's arcs ended, and I went, oh, I wasn't ready. You didn't have to do that. uh,
Yeah. So then, okay, so the tattoo gives them like the characteristics of the animal and the able
not
to summon.
Not necessarily. I believe it's the summon, but that the animal tends to summon based on a similar characteristic of the person. I believe one character, people described him as being jovial and that he liked being supportive of other people. So his tattoo manifested as a firefly on him. And then he was able to spawn as many as he wanted to help light them through a dark cave.
Oh, okay. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, so it's
He's a
like,
he's a bugmancer.
yeah, a little bugmancer, but it's not that you get control of all of the ones around you. It's like
Yeah,
from your
I've
tattoo. Yeah.
yeah, if that's what I was implying, that's not what I was thinking. I was thinking it was like a manifestation of the tattoo, but
Yes.
okay. Because I think I was just misunderstanding because I thought you said like someone had a shark tattoo and like that allowed them to swim
They
better.
in some parts of the book they would spawn the shark, and then the shark would let them ride the shark.
Okay.
So they were using it for enhancing things that
Hmm.
they already liked to do.
So they can't like you get the tattoo, but you don't know what animal you're getting.
Yeah, until you get it.
Are they all real animals, or is that spoilers? Okay. You know what? I guess by the title of the book,
I said this was a spoiler-free zone, Deepan. What are
yeah,
you
well,
doing?
look, you activated my brain fart thing where it's just like power systems and stuff. Like I've read so many comic books and like one of my favorite like comic genres that I'm enjoying right now is like the Hunter Society, like, and they have like their powers and how they
Oh,
get
another
theirs.
one that I can recommend to you. I don't know if you've read it
Okay,
yet.
DJ Khaled.
Uh, Legendborn.
I remember you telling me about it. I haven't read it.
Yeah, that society also sucks, but it sucks in my mind of the book because it's a very sucky society for people of color. It's a very white society that the structure of
Sounds pretty good to me.
Legendborn works out for you. But that Legendborn uses Arthurian legend, and there's a whole society around Arthurian legend and maintaining the Round Table and the order as written by the older legends. So like in it they're like, yeah, there's a King Arthur equivalent, there's a so and so equivalent, there's a so and so equivalent all the way through and through. I haven't finished the second book. A lot of the story in the first book that made it so good, it doesn't have the same weight to it in the second book. So a lot of us like binged the first book because it's really good, and then we started the second one and went, we don't care about this character. Why is he the main problem of the book? We liked the other characters better.
Mm-hmm.
But that one is one you
Yeah.
might like because, like you said, the Hunter Society and
I
abilities and
I'm also a sucker for like King Arthur stories. If anyone remembers when we were doing, well, it's an
Christmas
A24 movie,
movie.
but it wasn't in the A24 thing.
How
Uh,
Christmas are these Christmas movies?
yes, the Green Knight episode, which Green Knight, like that's the Sir Gawain and the Green Knight is like one of my favorite King Arthur stories. It's I like I almost put like the Legends of King Arthur in for my prompt, but I didn't.
That's
Um,
fair.
so sorry. Now I'm just like asking a whole bunch of questions about the power system. And I didn't know if you had more. I didn't want to
I'm
take
just
up
gonna
all your
say
time.
quick synopsis. TLDR is you follow a young girl. I'm forgetting her name now. But
Let's see.
she's basically
Eliza Dawson?
what are we talking? What are we talking about?
Dragon fruit? Dragon fruit? That's oh wait, is that no the heirs to the plantation fortune, Eliza Dawson occupies a privileged place in Upland
Nope,
Court.
that's not the book.
What the dog? I typed in dragon fruit. Yeah, it's a different thing.
I was like,
Yeah, this
Eliza's a very white name.
yeah, well, that's the first thing up there. This one, I don't know. When did that book come out? Because it's set in Hawaii. And so I was
Mm.
like, and then like I was looking and it's like it takes them to China and I'm like, maybe no.
Anyway, so yeah, her name is Hanale. Hopefully, I don't like butcher that pronunciation because I read it as a physical copy. I didn't
Hey,
listen
I
to
see it
it.
there.
Yeah.
Is
She
it
finds
tamarind a
herself.
fruit? Sorry. I'm talking while you're
Yes, it is. Well, it's is it? I guess it is a fruit. When I've
it's
eaten it, it's a purple like
yeah,
paste with the
it's
nuts
same
inside.
here.
But
Yeah.
anyway, the book opens where they tell Hanale recollects that there is a legend known about dragon eggs where a wish is granted if you are able to take a dragon egg. And the problem is naturally dragons are big, scary, and in this society they've gotten hunt. It's kind of like a whaling kind of equivalency where they've been hunted pretty close to extinction in hopes that they will produce dragon eggs. But there are colonizers from a foreign land that have come and kind of just started trying to take them for their scales and everything like that to make a quick profit off of them without respecting the sea or the creature. So we have Hanalei, who she is seeking out a dragon egg because someone important to her is has currently been poisoned to the point of being in like a in a catatonic state for many years. So she hopes if she can get her hands on an egg, she can save this person who she saw as her own mother and everything. But she had been exiled from her community. So it's a whole struggle there. And then there's also, on the flip side, a story of a prince to be who is also obsessively looking for this egg because the person in the catatonic state is his mother. and he feels like he's too young to move on and figure out like who gets to rule over the island, because the society is one run by women and queens. And since the people of the community are like, oh, she's definitely not going to come out of the state, we're going to have to like get you married, and whoever you marry will become the new queen of the island, and he's not ready to give that up, or to like give up his personal ability to like rule over the place. So you have Hanale, who's like on her own personal journey trying to figure out the egg, and crosses paths with Sam, as he's usually known in the book. And the two of them start to have a battle of morality of what to do with a dragon egg. So it's pretty fun. And it was a pretty solid YA thing.
The cover
I
art's really cool.
Yeah, it's got really good cover art, and it's got cool uses of mythology, and it's got dragons, but not like for Dragon War, which I think is nice, because I feel like a lot of fantasy dragons are like breathe fire, big scary, and they really like humanize these dragons,
Mm-hmm.
because the society like lives to respect them, things like that. So then there's a synopsis. I would recommend this book to anybody who I think just likes a fantasy that is pretty chill. Like I said, like the society and the world building I think is really cool. The uses of Pacific Islander mythology make it pretty vibrant and pretty interesting. It's just really like, if you like long running series, this one's a standalone, so I would stay away from that. And then the characters sometimes do things, and I'm like, why would you do that? And then I have to be like, oh, right, they're 12 and it's written so that, or maybe they're closer to like
The
teenagers.
babies.
Yeah. So they're going to make mistakes, and it's something for younger readers to relate to versus someone my age who'd be like, are you sure that was the best sentence to say? But you know what? Kids. How
All
much time
right.
do I got left on my timer?
You got 4 minutes.
Feel free to ask me other questions about the system.
Um, what kind of animal did you think you would get?
I think. I'm trying to think of what else they got. I think it'd be cool for me to get something that can slink into the shadows so nobody can bother me. So maybe something panther like, puma like, jaguar like. I forget which one is the appropriate term for them. Because I know the one that's all black is basically, I think, a jaguar just with black fur and
I
black
think
spots.
so. Aren't panthers all black?
Yeah, but I think I forgot the word for
Maybe a
the animal
chameleon.
families. Chameleons would be fun.
You can use your tongues to web sling like Spider-Man.
Pick
All
up
right,
the things I can't reach.
I don't know enough about the power system, so I'll let you decide what animal tattoo do you think I would have?
My brain goes to some kind of monkey. Some a monkey that laughs really loud.
My brain, whenever I hear monkey, thinks of Frieza. So you said monkey, and I'm like, monkey.
But I imagine you using distracting tactics. Because a lot of the characters who get the tattoos tend to use the tattoos for their advantage against people with like guns and cannons and things like that.
Mhm.
They use the tattoo creatures to give them some sort of advantage. So I imagine you having like one of those like monkeys that makes laughing noises, so people are like, what the hell is that noise? And you're like, gotcha.
Sucker. Oh man. It also I don't and it's also reminded me. Have you seen I know it's a TikTok. I don't know if it's a GIF of the gorilla that's in the zoo that just like runs out of the thing right at the glass and just stops and just slides and it stops so its butt is like right in front of the camera. And it's just like that's where it ends. Let's
I think I've
see.
seen that, yeah.
See if I just type in gorilla.
I
No,
feel like you're
gorilla.
probably gonna get a lot.
Well, I got a slidey gorilla, but it's not the one. Gorillas are just goofy. But anyway, yeah. I don't know. You got a minute? Anything else you would like to say about book?
I think I think I got out what I was looking for.
Nope. Dokes. Well, I will reset the timer for me. So I have I have two books. My prompt is a book that makes you miss something you never experienced. And it's I will say it is the worlds of these two books that I really like, and kind of the things in them that that like I am really enjoying. And so like I don't really, this one was really tough for me because I was just sitting there thinking about it and everything, and I'm like, oh man, like I keep going back and forth between a couple different things. Like for example, I'm like, oh man, it would be neat to be like in Way of Kings and experience the some of the stuff they do there. But then I also realized I would be a terrible soldier. Uh so like that wouldn't work out. Um there's like there was another book that came to mind, like the King Arthur stories. Like I don't know. I like them, but I don't think I would. I don't think I miss not being part of it. I
Okay.
think the magic of it is there. Um, and so these two books are tied for me. I'll say them, uh, and then I'll try to split up my time well to cover both. So it is Snow Crash by Neil Stevenson and Jade City by Fonda Lee.
Jade City is one of the few adult fantasies that are on the highly recommended list that I don't already have.
It's Yeah, so I'm gonna talk Snow Crash first, because I think I can get that out of the way first or quicker. Pretty much it's set up in the future. Well, the future when this was written, it's the 21st century, so it's now. But I don't know. There's some parts that are cool, other parts that I'm like, no, I'm game for how life sort of turned out here. But Snow Crash is kind of like one of the touchstone birth points of the whole cyberpunk uh like uh fantasy type. And so pretty much like we're set in a world where you have these like hackers that uh pretty much live on the internet, which you can physically go, and if you have the right technology you can like be there physically. And it talks about like how they have these like pretty much like VR goggles, as we say, that like go over your eyes, and like it puts it shoots like lasers into your eyes to make everything feel real, to the point where people like live in these societies and everything, and to the point where well, in they call it the metaverse. Unfortunately, some idiot took it and decided to name it after their company, but hey, whatever. Uh, but um, the whole gist of this is that pretty much there's this drug called Snow Crash that is going through the hacker community, and it pretty much, if your system is infected with it, it pretty much melts your brain. And so it's the start of that, and they're trying to make sure I'm like not getting this mixed up with, because I read this and a couple other um no, wait a second. Yes, this is it. Is it? No, man, I'm getting confused because there's like
Is all the
another book.
sci-fi blending together?
Yeah, well, because I read this Neuromancer, and then there was like another cyberpunk book that like I read very close together. And now I'm like, I think this is it. Let's see. Hold up. Yeah, Snow Crash is the whole thing. Data found in Snow Crash. Okay, yes, I am thinking of the right thing. So, yeah, so hero protagonist, that's, if you guys heard that name, that's where he's from. And like he pretty much is goes around sword fights and all this stuff, and he's a freelance hacker, and a pizza delivery man, which is a big deal because the mafia owns it. And then there's just like the world building is really cool. It is definitely something that like some of the stuff I'm like, well, that's a little icky, but it's overall the like just the way the world's built, I think is it's got like I guess when I was like younger and imagine the future, it's just like my brain would think of like Batman Beyond, and that's like kind of how I imagine Snow Crash is world looking like, where it's got like kind of like these VR things that people are able to have augmented reality and then virtual reality, and then just the way technology and everything just kind of fuses together all, and it's just like a lot of lights and just kind of crazy things. And me now, I'm like, I would hate it, but in the part of my brain, I still think it's cool. So, yeah, so at this current moment, at least the way where uh it looks like the US is going, I don't think we're gonna have cool light up shiny buildings at any
Oh
point.
no.
Yeah, but we will get urban crawl, but that's a different thing. Uh but or sprawl. There we go, is what I was looking for. But yeah, like the I just think it was neat because it also reminds me a lot of like different things that like I hear now where people like kind of the dot com era, like people are trying to get all this, where there's this whole thing where people are like, hey, we need to get ahead and get this stuff, and that's like how the metaverse was because no one believed in it. So all these hackers took it, built it into what it was, and made it like their own kind of like underground like black market thing. And then and then all of a sudden corporations like, wait, we can do this and do shows and like sell stuff and go and buy up all this real estate. So it's like people like who got in there early like have these homes and stuff set up in the metaverse. And I don't know, it was just it was like the whole way the world goes. But then it's like that's just within Los Angeles area, because then like you start going farther out from society where they eventually have to go up to, I think, like Alaska or something, and the internet's not as great there. And so like but they still need to be like, okay, I need to use augmented reality to like be able to do what I need to do. So it's kind of what I don't know. I still think it would be neat, even though I think my eyes would melt to have like this,
Constant, yeah.
yeah, this constant flood of information and stuff into my eyeballs. But I don't know. There's part of me that I'm like, I don't know. It'd be neat. I don't know if I'd be able to handle it, but it's I like Snow Crash, and mainly because it's like the world is not great, and there's definitely like a lot of like terrible things happening in the world, but the world itself like is not like a uh wasteland, because it feels like if you read do Andrew's Reign of Electric Sheep or watch Blade Runner, it's kind of similar case where corporations now kind of and like mafia groups and underground societies like now own cities in different parts of the world. But in this one, it's like it is all like, no, we're here to make a profit. It's we're not like, if you follow the rules and everything, like we're not here like we're not here to just like destroy people, but if you step out of line, we will destroy you, which is like that part sucks, but it's not like a complete like the world is absolutely terrible and devoid of joy because like corporations sucked it all out. Like I know there's parts, I think it's Little Hong Kong, I think it is. So I'm trying to see if it's in here, which it's like Little Hong Kong is this apartment complex that is oh, there it is. Mr. Lee's Greater Hong Kong, which is this huge like apartment complex that it's like this gated community that is, I think, owned by China and has owns this land. It's like, yep, when you live here, you and you decide to take a home here, you are now a citizen of Hong Kong. and like you have to get like a passport to leave, and so it's really confusing and everything. But I don't know, it's just like hearing like of all the different things you're able to do and the interactions. It's I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks that it's neat and like I don't know, it would be fun to visit and be part of, but I know I wouldn't last. So
I was, I've seen people do the opposite joke of like, I was born in the right generation. I've got my iPad and I've got hot chips.
yeah.
So that kind of energy. I don't
Yeah.
have to wear a visor 24/7. I think I'm in the right generation.
Yeah, but there's a part of me I'm like, you know what? If I think I want the tech world that is like two steps before that, like Batman Beyond, where you get
Okay.
flying cars, a lot of neon lights, a lot of street crime. But it's
There might be a vigilante though that can help
yeah.
you out.
Mm-hmm. Um but going on the other side, Jade City. This is the first book. I do have the second book that I'm planning on reading. Um in short, you we follow the Call family. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name right, but they are a pretty much one of the biggest crime families on this island of Kakan. And their whole trade pretty much is they have jade, which if you get pure jade and you attach it to your body, it pretty much gives you like increases your physical strength to make you more efficient and everything and like in battle and makes but it like increases your senses, makes you stronger and just overall like uh I guess the equivalent of like since we already I made a Dragon Ball Z joke earlier, like the Kaioken, like when he Goku does that and it just like increases everything. Um so it's pretty neat the whole thing because this whole at least the first book it's almost like your stereotypical kind of uh Asian crime lord family, but they have magic powers. So if you played the game Sleeping Dogs,
Okay.
the storyline is similar except you're not following the viewpoint of an underground cop. But like Fonda Lee, like I do want to read some of her other books, but it's just like after when I finished Jade City the first time, I was like, okay, like that was cool. And then like the more time I put in between it, I'm like, I need to get into the second book. So,
Before you
uh,
forget everything.
no, I just like now that I know I've forgotten a bunch of stuff, but I'm like, I miss that world, and I think that's what it is. It's just like, um, with even without like the magic ability of Jade in the city, it just it reminds me of like the way Kakan is set up, like or I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but of I watch a lot of YouTube travel people. Well, not a lot, but I watch a handful. And there's like, man, I would love to visit some of these things. And there's like some like kung fu movies I watch that I'm like, man, pretty sure I get killed, but man, it'd be cool to visit. But it's just like I'm realizing both of my books that makes something I miss that I'll never experience is very much like just this city like vibe because in Jade City the whole island follows all these different clans and we follow pretty much the biggest one and um which I guess a little bit of a not callback but a little similarity to sort of Kaigen where there's this older generation that's just like and sort of Kaigen's like, we were Kaigen, we're amazing, we're awesome. You have to be good, don't be weak. Women. So
Women babies.
yes. And Jade City has similar stuff to that where it's just like this older generation is not satisfied with the newer generation and like um but I realize I like crime stories that isn't just like, okay, we're about to do this heist and we're about to go kill these people. Like there's in this book it talks about like, hey, we can go fight, but if we do this, the pretty much these people are going to come in like the and just take what we have and just ruin our society. And look, they can have Jade. Like that's the thing. Like anybody could use Jade, but if you're not from the island, uh you get Jade sickness. And
Mm.
so and like that's like pretty much you go through withdrawals and all this stuff and you're like pretty much a drug addict like I need the next hit, but it's like the more you take the more like you get muscle atrophy
Atrophy?
yes, thank you. um but yeah, I guess like it's the same thing. I don't think I would want the abilities because of just especially what's going on within like the crime syndicate stuff. But like I don't know. That's I guess the way that Fonda Lee just writes this like whole group of people, and it's just like how the city like there's this level of respect and fear and just this general vibe of like everybody knows each other um on this island. Every for the most part, everyone's like, oh well, I want to follow you, but like we just had this other crime group come in. It's just like all these like story prompts that I really like that I don't know. I'm glad like I know it'd be terrible if I was actually in it. But I still like every time everyone's like, man, what if?
Are you
So
the family in the crime family that's I can't believe he got us into this mess again? Because I know that's a common trope in a lot of crime syndicate families,
I don't
where
know.
you have like the cousin that you're like, why did we give him that job?
I'd probably be the cousin that they're like the one that they're complaining about. No. Uh I don't know, because like as much as I like to say like do chaos and chaotic things, all my chaos is within the realm of rules that I gave myself. So it's I I don't think I would be like one of the main family like leaders and all that stuff because they go into like, hey, we need you because you're good at economics and I'm not. And so I need your help to like literally balance the books so we don't go under and like all these people that we're supposed to be helping and protecting, we take down with us.
Hmm.
Um and and so there's like stuff like that and like pretty much like, hey, okay, we got to collect taxes because we're going to be protecting you and all that stuff. But like I don't know. It's the other side of me is like I know that I don't like fighting. So it's like I don't know. I don't think I would be very good like at least in this book where it's there's a big chunk of fighting happening.
It's a
So
very, yeah, gotcha.
with some of the stuff going on. So but at the same time, I don't know, maybe I'd be a bodyguard because like I'll protect, but I don't know if I have a hard time going and fighting. But if it is to protect somebody, I think that's the switch in my head that goes off because it's just like if you come at me, whatever, I don't care. But you're gonna go after like the people I care about, I'm gonna punch you in the schnoz. Might not
Okay.
hurt, but it's like I'm gonna get you.
Big protect, not big attack.
Yeah. So it's like hit me rather than those the around me. I'm big and jiggly. So I don't know. I don't know if I answered the questions correctly, but that's what, what all
I
I
mean,
could
I
think
can
of.
see it because both of them you were kind of talking about like this big city life, and I have those moments too where growing up I was like, I'll go to a college that I know that I won't be in massive debt for, but I didn't really do the college life or go out to into the town or anything like that. And
Hmm.
then I have other friends that are like, oh, we used to go bar hopping and we would go to the nightclubs and all this stuff, and like part of me would be like, they make it sound like so much fun. And then my friend had a bachelorette in Las Vegas, and I went to a nightclub, and I went, I'm okay. I did it
Hmm.
once.
Yeah, I know myself because it's just like I don't know. Part of me was like, I wouldn't mind living in the this like
I
I
like
wouldn't
public
mind.
transportation, which was the
Yes.
other prompt. If this is your first time listening,
Mm-hmm.
Deepan, give me a prompt about yearning for
Because
public
I thought it'd be
transportation.
funny.
I found something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the idea of public transportation, which is great in cities. And then I go to the city, like I went to New York City twice in the last 2 weeks, um, which does not line up for when this releases, but it lines up for when this was recorded.
When we're chatting.
Yeah, and then after doing that, I was like, I don't need to go to the city again for a while.
Yeah. There's so yeah, it's part of me is like I guess this is true like even like outside of books like something I miss that I never experienced is like there's parts of city life that I'm like man that does sound really attractive and everything but I know I would hate it and and that you didn't say I actually had to enjoy it so uh yeah it's the most city life I enjoy is when I go to like PAX East and even that's a little bit too much.
That's also like, which is funny because it's very easy for you to like walk to and from, so you're not even wandering the city very much. You're like,
Hmm. So yeah, it's I guess I wouldn't mind living in it would depend on the city. Um, because there's what is it? Because I've toyed around with the idea of moving to like Fargo because that's like a small town but with city infrastructure.
hmm.
But I don't know. But then like but if I had to choose like it's like okay, you can live in the city or move to a small town. I'm like if I can get decent internet in a small town, I will go there.
That would be the option. Yeah.
So,
Oh, that was fun. So yeah, so for the little recap for people, D Payne asked me for a book that makes me wish for an ability or tool of the world, and I gave a lot of backup fantasy books.
someone sweepy.
Just a little bit. And I ultimately landed on dragon fruit because they have
Cool art.
ta- cool body art, tattoos
Hmm.
that can manifest into creatures that listen to your commands.
And Hop gave me a book that makes you miss something you never experienced, and I chose it was tied between Snow Crash and Jade City. So next week we are our final prompt before we get to do something a little different, which I don't know, we kind of done something like this before. Well, it's still a little different. Um, but yeah, we'll announce what we're doing next week. Or sorry, we'll say what prompts because we've been saying what prompts we've been doing for next week. But next week we will tell you what the next series is.
The next bigger
And
announcement.
yes, which is fun. But now I have homework again.
It's a lot shorter
It is
than
a
the
lot shorter.
A24.
Yes. It's crazy. Like I don't know if you were feeling like this, but I'm like I was looking at I'm like, oh wait, we're almost done. Like we're almost done book stuff, and I'm like, my brain, I thought this was gonna take a lot longer, but then I
Yeah,
realized it's
we've
like
doubled up some of these weeks,
we
so
did double up, but I'm like just the just the whole thing in general, and it's like it's what this
it also just feels weird that like it's already like, well, I don't know when
it's
this is releasing. Yeah, it's already July.
yeah, like all this stuff ends this month, and it's just like oh okay, it's
It was fun when it was while it lasted. If you enjoy these,
yeah.
please leave comments or reviews and
I'm
say
gonna leave
bring
my
these
own
back
comments and reviews so we can do it.
so we can
Just
weigh
do,
out the
yeah. We'll make as we'll keep joking the Patreon book talk.
Yes, but the
I'll have to read a
prompts,
lot more.
yeah.
I don't know. I
We'll just
started.
have to like pick things that you've already read so then you have like months ahead of time.
I've started Lonesome Dove. Uh
Oh, you're not finishing that for a long time.
yeah, I know. But like if you look at my story graph, I purposely like knocked out like five shorter books.
Mm.
Um
So you can settle in for the long haul.
yeah, and so But I was just listening to it and I'm like, okay. At first I'm like, "Oh, I'm not digging this," and then it like the second chapter, like it was halfway through this first chapter. I'm like, oh, I get what they're doing. Oh my goodness, I can see this piece of crap town so clearly. Oh my gosh. So, but
Yeah.
what is your prompt for next week?
The prompt D Payne has given me for next week's episode is a book that you don't want to leave its world.
I don't think that's grammatically correct, but anyway.
Well,
So
I'm reading it as written.
I know I'm critiquing my own writing. And Hop gave me a book that should be experienced more than once. And I have my answer. So,
I'm kind of between two answers because I think I'm going to do a fun twist on this prompt because you had already given me in another episode a book that grows a desire to live in that world.
oh yeah, I kind of
So,
did write the same thing without realizing it.
but I'm going to flip it and instead of it, you'll see. You'll see.
Okay.
You'll all see next week.
I see.
Yes, my villain arc.
Yes. Thunder, thunder, lightning, lightning. Oh, you're part of the knights.
Maybe I shouldn't have said ACAB so soon earlier.
I'm gonna send you just all the night TikToks on TikTok so that way you just get night TikTok.
Oh, my poor algorithm.
Yeah. I don't know. I used to send you TikToks and then half the time I don't even know if you look at them. So I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna stop.
You probably were sending them during the whole when I was more active, so then I would just have crazy amounts of notifications, and that was before TikTok told you that the notifications were either messages or other notifications, I felt like. So then
Yeah. I don't know.
I see big numbers, I don't click buttons. I
Yeah.
only recently cleaned out my mail inbox.
I'm not gonna talk about mine. So, anyway, we'll see you guys next week for the final episode, and we'll let you know about our inbox mail count and all our other counts, like how many bills we didn't pay. But anyway, thank you. See you next time. Bye bye.